My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like times like these that make you say, Lord, in the city, please come my way. Like people bring control when I stray. Well, I'm sacrificing the price. My life be like living like a fingertip. Sometimes I fall, I slip. Yeah, more friends I be more like you. Yeah, not to put your
Feels like a good Monday morning intro.
I love how he gets all the evidence, even among all that rage. You know,
Yeah, he picks up all the mail, throws it all in, like not leaving anything behind.
I don't think I've ever seen that intro before.
Well, if you showed up more than once a week, this wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Well, wait. I was here every day last week.
You were. I was proud of you. That was quite impressive.
you get a gold star.
Thanks, Dad. I mean, Justin.
How many intros
Cool.
do I have?
You have a lot of intros.
Anybody have an interesting
okay.
weekend?
I mean, it was pretty typical over this way. Saturday rained all day. Figured I'd get the weather talk in here.
Nice.
Like, I didn't think it was going to
Rain
stop,
lately.
and it didn't.
I have 39 different intros, including the night before one.
Wow.
Jeez. How was your weekend, Dag?
Oh, it was fine. Did farmer's market. Nothing too exciting there. Sold a few things.
No
And
white
then,
supremacists.
Well, I do have my one buddy. He's probably like in his 60s. He's white. Likes Thomas Sowell, and is a farmer. So I'm sure he would be considered a white supremacist.
The white supremacists that you're talking about in the farming community, is this the people in Indiana at the farmers market, Justin?
Well, no, the article that we were talking about, the lady is she lives in Appalachia, so like Eastern
okay.
Kentucky, West Virginia, somewhere in that neighborhood.
There is a new coffee company coming about, and they're accused of being white supremacist. Their coffee is not kosher certified. So maybe we should reach out to them for an ad. I know we got coffee of our own here, but we rarely ever throw that ad up. So
I was like, speaking of coffee, where did I put the damn ad? We'll do it later.
okay.
Yeah.
So, well, like the article, and it's funny because I really felt like the tone of this lady who like wrote the article, because let's say a family member of mine who lives in a big metropolitan city in the area that, you know, is full of beautiful farmers markets and rainbow flags, was talking to a friend of hers and was stunned to find out that her friend was a Trump supporter. And the reason she was so stunned is because her friend is into good, healthy food and going to the farmer's market and stuff like that. So, of course, people who like to eat healthy couldn't possibly be supporters of Trump, was like the logic here. But it is kind of like that feel from a lot of like the city, the metropolitan people who attend the farmers markets that are, of course, supplied by the, you know, rural and semi-rural farms in the area. They have this feeling that these rural and semi-rural farms are, you know, liberal fucking city dwelling idea having kind of people, and they're really not, you know. But, you know, of course, it's the beauty of markets is they come together and interact and get along so well that they don't even realize that they disagree with each other, right? but yeah, I definitely think that is something that's common. Now, the farmers market I go to, it's rural, so most people are a little more conservative, but I have gotten people who like speak to me with the assumption that, of course, I'm very liberal, you know.
That was the thing about the article, was like the woman didn't realize that anybody at her farmer's market was a conservative until she started losing business because she was anti-Trump. Like, just the way that she worded it made me pretty sure that none of them asked, and nobody would have stopped doing business with her if she hadn't made it a point to make that a thing for her. Like, I'm almost, and then once she did that, then she starts to realize that all of these people at this farmers market in Appalachia are a bunch of conservative Trump supporters, which means that they're naturally white supremacists. It's like, lady, you really didn't read the room very well on this whole thing.
Well, like I tried as a salesman, in these scenarios too. Like I try to adjust my pitch, based on the customer. But one thing, like my dad taught me when I was on the job with him real young, is like your politics or whatever the customer's politics are. You know what I mean? Like whatever they say, oh, yep, I hear you. Oh yeah, fuck them. Whatever the fuck the customer's bitching about, oh yeah, I hear you. Rarely. I mean, there are instances where like if it's directly related to my fucking food or how the food works, like I'll correct somebody. But otherwise, it's what the fuck ever. I don't care. Give me your money.
I mean, like you're at a farmer's market. There's no reason that should even be a part of, like, the people are there because of the food and the community and that. Like they're not there to talk politics. Typically, anyway.
Yeah, some people are so. I see. They just assume that everybody is in agreement on politics because, duh, how could you not think that DeSantis is a monster fascist who's trying to force, Handmaid's Tale upon us all? Everybody can obviously see that. So
Lord, bring the day. Lord, bring the day.
He's not.
So it's just like, I mean, it's I don't know, man. It's weird because there are a few people that are just like that. I don't know if they live in a bubble or what the fucking thing is, but some people, I don't know. It gets annoying because you're right. This should be the way it is. We talk about food, we laugh. The people you might be closer friends with, you might be able to get a little more deep and political with because you already know you agree, So, but yeah, generally they're a great time and it's not much of an issue. I have not done a farmer's market in like St. Pete or Orlando though. That might be an ordeal, to be honest.
Why would that be an ordeal?
Because we might get more in the city.
Yeah, go. You're actually there. Honestly, those are going to be much more progressive type places that you might actually have that be the central focus of those farmers markets is the progressive, like hippity dippity dumb shit, as opposed to it being like if you're at a local, more rural farmers market, obviously it's going to be people who are there that are the more farmer types, that are more about the actual real environmentalism, not like the fake environmentalism and saving the planet. They're people who are actually about like local environmentalism and preserving your farm and stuff like that, and growing real organic healthy foods and actually taking care of your body and stuff like that. Like they're not going to be the rubber stamped Whole Foods type of environmentalists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would put money on the fact if I was doing like a big progressive city, farmers market, global warming or climate change would come up every other customer. They'd be like, climate change, am I right? You must know. You're a farmer, shit like that. Like, like that kind of shit, whereas, yeah, like Justin was saying, where I'm at, it's rural, it's more conservative. The farmers market's pretty laid back and easy, but I don't make nearly as much money as if I was at one of those big, busy, progressive ones either. So, go and turn on the charm. It's tough though.
Well, that was the funny thing about the article was like she just automatically assumed that everybody there aligned with her politically, and then when they didn't, then she started like trying to make justifications for why they were wrong, and localism is actually a terrible thing, and it creates this nationalistic mentality, which nationalism is now associated with white supremacy, even though there's no legitimate connection to that, really. If you look historically or even at what is modern nationalism, there's not really any legitimate connection to white supremacy. And then she goes on to how globalism is just a dog whistle for being anti-Semitic and hating Jews, and the whole thing was ridiculous and insane. Like it made for a really good conversation. I wish you could have been there for the whole thing because we had a lot of fun with it, and also just talked about like what those things actually mean and what the farmers markets actually represent. So yeah.
What other vein? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll try to find the article about this lady in Indiana and send it to you, Justin, because she actually got kicked out of her local farmers market for being a Nazi. It's not like she was like showing up, like throwing swastikas at her table or anything. I think they just found out her political leanings and
They talked.
tossed her out.
She talked about that woman very, very briefly in the article as well. And the what's the guy's last name? Joel.
Soliton.
Yeah, he's not actually some white supremacist or some ridiculous racist, but like the things that he said got twisted out of context to make it that way. And then once that label is there, then that's just what it is. You at that point you may as well just lean into it and go ahead and throw on a robe and a hood and just set it up on the table.
Well, I was glad that he explained that a little bit, because I remember when I read that in the article that that Joel Soliton, well, we all know his whatever, and I was like, well, I didn't know that there was some like racist thing other than that he's just like a small farmer who has like opinions of his own. He caught some heat back in like 2020 because he had one of his blog posts, The Lunatic Farmer, definitely great, you should subscribe, was saying, I want coronavirus. I want to get it. I want to get over with and move on, just like we do with everything fucking else. He's like, I don't get sick. I've got a better immune system than anybody. Bring it on. And so like New York Times people were like writing articles like attacking him and being like, well, you should come lick subway turnstiles and stuff and such, like bullshit like that, But I assumed it was just got him on the wrong side of everything. But I was like, oh, of course there's some racist thing, I don't know. It was only a matter of time for old Joel.
The response to that is, what's a subway turnstile?
Yeah. Ew, you go in the subways? Gross.
Well, and like the woman's solution to white supremacy in the farmers markets is to make minorities more of a focus of the farmers market. Like, if they're not there to begin with, how do you make them a focus of it? Like, that's the like her whole thing is there aren't enough white people, or there's too many white people at all of these things. Well, if the other people aren't there, it's hard to include them. Like, no, and I guarantee you there's nobody at any farmers market that's like, oh no, you're a Muslim, you can't come in here, sorry, we don't allow your kind. Like, that's right. It's the same with like the Catholic communities that she talks about, and like the really localistic communities that are they're kind of covenant community type things. It's like nobody's telling any of those people you can't be here. Like, if you align with the ideals and the goals and what the community is wanting to do, as a whole, then you're going to be welcome. But like, if you don't, then you're not. And that's, if you don't come ask, hey, can we join your community? Then you're not going to get an invitation, because they're not out looking for people. They already got their people. Now it's up to you to prove that you want to be a part of it. And then if people don't do that, then like, that's not white supremacy. That's not exclusionary. That's just people self-segregate. It's not like that. That's not something new historically or throughout like human nature.
I'm sure it has them, but I'm like racking my brain trying to figure out like what a farmer's market in Detroit would look like.
Go set one up and see who comes.
That's why it's a food desert. They don't have them.
Like, I just show up and it's just like a soul food buffet. It's like, it's the weirdest farmer's market I've ever seen.
Look, my farmer's market is next to the little hood. All right, so you get one or two crackheads that roam through every time, so there's plenty of diversity. As far as the vendors go, probably at least half the vendors are some sort of person of color. There's usually a couple ethnic food stands. I mean, it's very diverse, as is. Everybody gets along, Like, there was that one time that the Latino people were playing their music a little too loud, and another booth got a little upset about it, but that's okay. That's what we have the market manager for. He swoops in and he Karens it up and handles the problem. It's a beautiful system that they have worked out there. So, yeah, it's awesome.
I do have a farmer's market that's like 2 miles from here, but I'm afraid it'll look like what you were describing earlier about like St. Petersburg. I've been there maybe a couple times and just got those vibes.
Yeah, it's possible. But I mean, the vendors might still be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, just go and check out the vendors and see if there's any hot hippie chicks roaming around. You might stumble upon something there.
I'll see what I can find.
They might not smell great, but I bet get down pretty
They
crazy.
shave their armpits.
Let's see. Well, speaking of localism, the only way localism really works is if you're breeding and growing your own community. So we have a way to help with that for those who have the slow swimmers. New sperm bots could help solve infertility by acting as bionic suits for sperm. There's a little video that I saw with this. I don't know if it's on this article or not.
Well, that was a real one. I watched the video. Was that a real one functioning or like a computer simulation?
I think it was a real one. I think it was a real one functioning.
That is insane.
Yeah, so it's like this
that
little
exists.
It's like this little piece of like a little metal tube that basically it attaches itself to the tail of the sperm and then drives the sperm toward the egg.
Well, now I'm confused. I thought they were trying to depopulate us and come up.
Well,
with
this is in Germany. You know, they've
already successfully depopulated Germany. So
Well, they're trying to repopulate a very specific group of people.
That's right. There's
only available.
blonde hair, blue eyed, fair complexion. You know,
You get super sperm to boot.
I think they ruined that motivation from Germany. It's a different kind of features they're trying to populate.
It is just the nano shit like that. Like that's the kind of thing that or at least I mean, I speak for everybody, but I always kind of feel is like, oh, that's like still like science fiction. It's one of those things that's always just right around the corner, but doesn't exist yet. But I was a little freaked out watching that video. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if that was really that thing working and it kind of looked like it, like that's goddamn impressive. First off, at the people who design and whatever that. But also, that's kind of terrifying that they could just send shit that small, like release it into my fucking body. So now, the people who say that they're injecting like microchips and nanobots with the fucking vaccine aren't so goddamn. Like, I'm not saying that's happening, but it's possible if they're doing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically
nanobots in you.
Yeah.
Actually,
we can do that.
But no, you're crazy for assuming we would.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they, after all the conspiracy theory about there being a microchip or something in the COVID vaccine, didn't like a little while later a research article come out that talked about actually putting microchips in vaccines to help trace? It's for like health purposes to help you be able to like in real time monitor your blood pressure and like glucose levels and do all this stuff. Like, this is a legit thing. It's not like some science fiction crazy fantasy thing. Like, they actually have the chip developed, and if it works the way they want it to work, what was the chick that her company had the thing that like a single drop of blood and they could do the full panel testing? There's been a Hulu documentary about it and all kinds of stuff, and she's been in court over the last couple of years because basically what her court case came down to was she explained all of this technology and just couldn't make it work. So she and her company was worth like billions of dollars, but it was billions of dollars that people had invested in a thing that didn't actually exist and didn't actually work the way that she had talked about it. So she's in court because she effectively defrauded all of these investors and stuff. Well, she was just like some years too early. Like, it's actually happening now. And she's like our age. I think she's like 38 or something. But
Speak for yourself, man.
oh yeah, you're a lot younger. She's mine at Tag's age. How about that? Yes, that's it. Theranos.
No, it's not. It can't be called that.
Yes, that is it. Why can't it
Look,
not
I'm
be
not
called
a big Marvel fan, but
that's
I know
Thanos,
who
you idiot.
is. I know,
It was
but
kind of close. I thought the same thing, Mark. I'm on the same
No, I
page.
know.
I thought the same thing.
it's
I
so
was like,
close to his name. Like, they don't have to make it his exact name.
Didn't he do something like destroy the whole universe or something?
Yes.
Only half the universe.
Only have
The-
save them from
Well,
themselves.
Yeah,
You know,
like
when
a
you
joke.
hear him make his argument, it's actually pretty all right. Like, I might not might not necessarily
Oh,
agree
yeah,
with
I
his
forgot
prescription.
Justin is like Thanos 2024 guy.
Yeah, wipe out half of them. In fact, let me help you pick the half.
You talk shit about Bill Gates, but sometimes I wonder if you're on his side, or is he doing it the wrong way?
He's doing it the wrong way.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting part of the Theranos story. Was she like cultivated this deeper voice? So this and like sometimes you could hear it crack or like it would change or something. But like she had like this fake voice that she used, and anytime she did interviews and talked and stuff to come across like I guess more powerful or something. She had a fake deep voice. It was real deep too.
Damn, baby, I like that wagon you're dragging.
So anyway, the microchip thing, like she was just ahead of her time. Like now they've actually got something that's going to do all that. And if it can do all that, what else can it do? Like eventually they can just make you turn and decide you're not going to be a good anarchist anymore. You're going to follow the orders and get the shot.
When do the sperm bots hit the market? I'm not interested.
Just roughly how much do they cost? You
I
think?
should have had a disclosure at the beginning there.
It just says the next stages for the team are working out an improved method for controlling the direction and upgrading the micromotor construction that they're built on and investigating any potential issues with the body's immune system. It's a promising start, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So they're not ready to hit the market just yet, but these are like early developmental stages and stuff.
Coming soon to a farmer's market near you.
That's right.
These bananas were grown entirely by nanobots. Put a lot of Mexicans out of jail. It's one of the things that I think some of the other, because there have been a few articles similar to that, but I think one of the things that people have said is like, oh, because it's exploitative of like, Mexican labor and stuff, farming in general, I guess. But, like, I forget who it is, but like Mexico has their own Mexicans. Like there's some other country that like migrates to Mexico and does their like janitorial work. Like every country has a Mexicans, like in Spain, it's like, I don't know, Paraguay or something. Like they all migrate there and do their jobs nobody wants to do. It's the natural order of things.
So Dag is in support of the natural order. If I knew we were going this way,
is that supposed to mean something? I'm not privy to you guys' terms and stuff, so don't lump me in with something.
You're lumped in whether you want to be or not.
I was just about to say, if I knew you were gonna go in
podcast, I want no part of.
Go in support of the natural order, I'd have run the black Nazi from New York. He was all about the natural
that guy.
order.
I don't know. He was kind of cool though.
He was pretty intense.
Didn't seem that bad.
Fine.
Yeah. If he was my cab driver, it'd be a fun ride. That's all. You know, I'd enjoy that 15 minutes.
We could definitely have a fun conversation.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to invite him to my, nephew's bar mitzvah or anything, but, I'd let him drive me across town.
That would be like, just like some normie gets in the cab with him and he's got his Nazi armband on and like there's 5 minutes of uncomfortable, awkward silence and he just kind of goes, so you're probably wondering about the armband, aren't you?
He's got to bring it up. He has to be the one every time. Every ride.
See, I didn't know this. That actually explains a lot. I had a guy
that makes sense.
I had a Guatemalan that worked for me when I was in Jersey, and there were some Mexicans who would come in and do stuff. And anytime they were there, he'd just like be seething and like really, really mad. It's like, I don't understand what, like, y'all are effectively the same people. What's the problem? That now makes me understand the resentment between the Mexicans and the Guatemalans. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I wonder, do the Japanese have their Mexicans?
I think that's just lower class Japanese.
Yeah, because it seems like tough work just to float a boat up there to do the hard tasks in Japan.
I think they're a pretty tiered society.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of little islands right around Japan too, So maybe they import them from those little islands, and it feels.
So
like
they take a boat to the island and they round them up and they bring them back and then they have them do the work. That sounds
only like 100 yards offshore,
That's
but
a lot of work.
sounds strangely familiar. This is gonna be like a farming episode today. Are the Mexicans really like being taken advantage of though? Because like on the farms and stuff, because a lot of them come here on a work visa and stay specifically for that purpose. Like if you're volunteering for it, are you being taken advantage of? I don't like.
I'm honestly kind of under the impression that the group taking advantage of them the most, and this would depend on how they come here. Obviously, if they come here, like you said, on a work visa and stay, this doesn't apply. But let's say they're, coming over the border, let's say illegally. And it's probably the cartels, because the cartels run all that shit. Like if you're coming over the border, you're paying them. And, we see a lot of really horrific instances like that. Tractor trailer truck where it was like 50 or 60 of them died because they just parked it somewhere and left it in like El Paso. Situations like that are really bad, but it's, what the fuck. So I'd say that's probably the worst, situation is the ones that come over that way. Otherwise, man, I mean, once they're here, fuck, you're in America, man. What you got to bitch about?
Well, that's some of them go on like revolving work visas where they come in and they go to like North Carolina and they work on farms there and do stuff, and then when they're done there, they get the visa extended and they go to Indiana or Kentucky and they work there, and then when that's done, they get the visa extended and they go to Mississippi and they work there. Like they travel all over the country and just work nonstop, and like and they don't keep any of the money. Like they're sending all of the money that they make back to Mexico. Like it's really kind of interesting. Or there are others who do it seasonally. Like they come on the work visa, they work for however long, pocket all that money. Like they will literally live out of the bed of the truck that they're working out of, and is when the season's over, they go back to Mexico with all of this money that they made, and like that's how they, feed their family for the year. Like it's nothing. There's really a stigma around like the illegal alien work and the farm stuff that gets really twisted out of hand. Like remember Trump's vineyard hires a bunch of like Mexicans every year to work the vineyards, and when the left got a hold of that information, they like went batshit crazy about how Trump is so anti-immigrant, but here he uses immigrants on his farms. It's like that's a completely different process. Like y'all clearly don't understand how any of this works. Like you're fucking retards.
How dare you employ those migrants?
Right, like dumbest shit ever. Speaking of some pretty dumb shit, I don't know, maybe it wasn't dumb in the mind of the guy doing it, but it just seems like a waste to me. A man who was overcharged by 25 cents for train tickets 2 decades ago and 100 court appearances later, he will finally get his refund.
Was this general curmudgeony, or was it autism that causes this?
Bro, if you just like walk on a sidewalk for 10 minutes, you'll find one of those lying on the ground.
So he bought 2 train tickets in 1999. He gave them however much money, and they were supposed to give him change back. They didn't. They shortchanged him. They didn't give him his full change back, and he mentioned it, and he was refused the rest of his refund. They basically told him fuck off. And so then he decided to sue and take them to court. And 22 years and 100 court appearances later, he's getting a full refund for both of his tickets. Plus, they have to pay him $188 in fees as well. So, I mean, I guess it
like court fees.
Yeah,
was this like a city bus or train or?
Yeah,
it wasn't like because you think like if let's say it was a private company, bro. Like, you think they'd just be like, here's your quarter. You know, like get out of here, like, and not go to 110 court
Please.
hearings over it. You think they'd be like, here's 2 quarters.
Oh no, the railway system like was the ones that were really fighting it. Part of the reason why it stretched out as long as it did is because they were trying to get it moved from a consumer court to a railway tribunal. Yeah, like,
Sounds so terrible.
right.
They
Instead
didn't
of giving this dude like, and it's in India, so it was like 20 rupees or whatever. But like instead of just giving the dude his 20 rupees, they're trying to like fight it and take it to higher courts and all kinds of crazy shit. It's like, yeah,
So he wins, and they don't adjust for inflation either. So he just seems like a ripoff.
yeah.
Does inflation work the same way there? They have to have a central bank, right? They've got to be
I think everyone does a central.
they've got to
bank.
be
Oh,
they've got to be like in the fold with our central bank, right?
so he is getting 12% interest per year.
I wonder if Haiti has a central bank, or is that just our central bank?
Well, yeah, that's always the thing. It's like you said, like every country has a central bank, but it's whether or not it's also our central bank. Like I think there's like 40 countries that aren't our central bank. I'm just making that number up. I really don't know what it is, but it's some small amount.
So he's getting refunded his 20 rupees plus 12% interest per year for the 22 years. So that's an additional 43 rupees that he gets on top of his 20. Plus he gets another the 15,000 rupees, which is 188 bucks. The 15,000 rupees of the fine that they charged the railway for overcharging him or for not refunding him his money. So he's coming out okay, I guess. He's gonna make like 200 bucks off of this total for 22 years worth of and 100 court appearances.
Like 10 years ago, they're like, "Hey, so how's the trial going?" He's 12 years in. They're like, it's kind of at a standstill now." Little did they know there were 10 years left. That's insane.
Well, and the really crazy thing about it is, like, from reading the article, it looks like at least half of the problems that the guy ran into was just the complete inefficiency of.
What does that mean?
No, it's Dag. Dag's the
What's happening?
Dag's the stat guy today.
Hold on, let me unplug and plug back in.
See, I just go through and mute everybody until we
That's what she
find the culprit. At least part of the problem the dude has been running into is just the inefficiency of the Indian courts. Like it said, a large part of the reason for the delay has been judges on vacation. How is that? How is that the reason that they're delaying the trial? Is because the judges are on vacation for 22 fucking years? What's going on? Crazy.
Nice.
They move slow over there. Is that any better?
Yeah, it sounds better.
Okay.
No, there it is.
There it is.
God damn it.
You got your phone sitting next to your mic? You know, that used to be a problem back in the day, is if your phone was too close to your mic, then every time you receive a text message or something, you get the feedback loop.
Mine's sitting right next to my mic. I guess nobody wants to text me, which is fine. It takes me 3 days to respond anyways.
Yeah, half the time when I text you, you just left on red. It's like, all right, then.
I don't have receipts on, so you're lying.
Let's see. Do we want to talk about...
Is that all right? Can you hear me at all?
Oh, there you're back. Now you're muted.
No, he muted himself. He's talking, and I don't know what he's doing.
Did you mute yourself, or did I? I didn't. I know I didn't mute you. Oh, then he's gone.
No,
He's gonna reboot and come back. Let's see. Evidence of human to dog transmission of monkeypox virus. The first recorded case of humans spreading monkeypox to a dog. Let's see.
I don't even want to delve into this.
I'm not. Look, I started scrolling, and there are pictures, and I don't want to scroll any further. It was somewhere in France. Yeah, it's in France. Oh, damn it! Quit. It's scrolling on its own. What the fuck? I gotta remove that. Go away. I don't want to see that butthole. I don't want to see any butthole. Let's just be totally upfront. Like I don't care whose butthole. I don't. I'm not interested in that. That's just no. That serves a very specific purpose, and I don't want to be around that part. So anyway, yeah. So speaking of buttholes, this dog has lesions around its butthole because it somehow got monkeypox from its non-monogamous gay owners. So that's a thing.
Non-monogamous gay owners.
Yes. The possibility of sexual transmission is being investigated as the current outbreak appears to be concentrated to men who have sex with men. I love how they've worded this. And has been associated with unexpected anal and genital lesions. Whether domesticated cats and dogs could be a vector for monkeypox is unknown.
At this point, never mind.
Oh God! I'm just gonna
leave
copy.
that.
Look, I'm just gonna copy the link to this article, and if anybody wants to, because I'm like halfway through this. I'm halfway through the second paragraph, and I want nothing else to do with it. So, if you're interested in the dog with monkeypox, just have right on at it. We are going to move on to the Inflation Reduction.
Did it say at least what kind of dog it is?
No, I don't think it's specified.
Because if it's one of those little dogs, little yappers, then that dog itself is kind of gay already. If it's a big dog, then I'm even more mad.
Dag's trying to come back, but I wanted to see if it was working. It doesn't look like it. We'll give him a little more time. So the thing I thought was really interesting about this article was the fact that it's from USA Today, which tends to lean pretty hard to the left, and also the fact that along with this one from USA Today, I've also seen at least 4 others that are on a similar vein. The Inflation Reduction Bill. Don't buy Democrats' fantastical twisting of reality.
Yo.
Wow. Didn't expect to see that. Is
Right?
there a catch at the end?
No, they actually the whole article is pretty well dedicated to explaining why in fact there's that actual line is in here that the Inflation Reduction Bill will not actually reduce inflation.
Does it have anything to do with funding feminism classes in the Middle East?
Here it is. It's all in the name. Wouldn't it be nice if simply slapping a hopeful name on a bill would translate into lower prices at the pump and grocery store? Well, that seems to be what Democrats in Congress hope the American people will believe. Unfortunately, this legislation is likely to do nothing to reduce inflation, which remains near a 40-year high. It could even make it worse.
Yeah, it's likely.
Let's
Look at
see.
the opening paragraph is about her 5-year-old niece.
I recently got to see my darling 5-year-old niece, and she and I have a tradition of reading and telling stories before bedtime. She asked me to continue a story that I made up about a mermaid princess and her underwater friends. I can't speak to my ability to spin a fairy tale, but I was successful in pulling her to sleep. I haven't been alone in dabbling in make-believe, as Senate Democrats on August 7th pushed through with a party line vote the Inflation Reduction Act, which seems to address climate change and prescription drug prices by spending lots of money and growing government. The House passed the bill Friday, and Joe Biden is expected to sign it this week.
Good on this lady for writing this article, but at the same time, she's lying herself about her made-up tale about an underwater mermaid princess and her friends. Pretty sure that's the Little Mermaid.
Are you trying to say that she plagiarized the Little Mermaid to her name?
Yes. And I'm offended for my people.
Who are your
Not
people?
mermaids, redheaded people.
Oh, Okay, so does the Little Mermaid count as a ginger since she's actually a mermaid? Like, can fish be mermaids?
Can
Or
fish be gingers?
Can fish be gingers? Yeah, I guess fish can be mermaids.
Hey, I'll give her a pass.
Okay, you just say that because she's kind of hot.
I mean, I used to think she was hot, definitely.
No, Jack.
I mean, I'm an 11-year-old boy. I liked the way she dressed. I didn't care if she had a fin for legs.
Two seashells. That's all you needed.
The G pass. Yeah. Trey knows. He gets it.
So I don't remember if I put the two of you in the same division in the fantasy football league or not.
Oh,
I think
divisions.
I think I did. I wanted to try to isolate the gingerism into one division, so y'all weren't like spreading it through the whole league. That way, at least some of us could escape relatively unscathed. Although my wife is a little bit gingerish, so I should probably move her into y'all's division too. Just to
toss her in our division. We'll be the Big Ten of fantasy football.
Well, I went with the Big Ten I went with the Big Ten style of naming the divisions. It's not Legends and whatever the other one is, but
that only lasted for what, 2 years?
I think that's right. What was it? Legends and
Leaders.
Leaders. That's it. Well, I went with something similar. You'll just have to go check it out to find out because I don't remember what I named them off the top of my head. So.
We got the Goyim and the Jew League.
Oh, it's the very fine people and very stable geniuses.
Oh, nice.
Those are the divisions. I can't remember which one you're in, but so yeah, I've been pretty impressed with the mainstream coverage of. Oh, Dak's trying to talk. Talk again. We almost heard you.
He switched positions.
I watched some YouTube videos about fantasy football yesterday, so I think I'm ready.
Can you turn yourself up, or is that as loud as you get?
I don't know, man. It doesn't give me many settings on here.
What is he on?
He's on his phone. Unless you mean like, what is he on? In which case, I don't know. I assume it's just the normal. Yeah.
My headphones. I don't know why everything of mine sucks right now. I'm sorry.
having himself a week.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
I'll just sit quietly.
What?
All right. Has
what
everybody?
Is this little animal thing on his at the top of his bookshelf there?
Over your left shoulder.
Is it what? Oh, now we're gonna get the whole tour.
It looks like a fat fox.
Yeah, I like it. I like foxes. Anyways.
I want to send everybody out on a terrifying note today. Have you seen this chick? I think it's a chick. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. This thing,
based on appearances, is going to be awful.
Pronouns, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to talk about minor attracted persons. And I want to talk about minor attracted persons because they are probably the most vilified population of folks in our culture.
Rightly so.
And folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them. And those assumptions create harm for an already marginalized population.
We already talked about this, Trey.
You may have noticed that I'm using the term minor attracted persons, sometimes abbreviated to MAPS, instead of the more commonly used term pedophile. And I'm doing this because the term pedophile has moved from being a diagnostic label to being a judgmental, hurtful insult that we hurl at people in order to harm them or...
I think it was always that. Maybe.
I also prefer person-first language that recognizes that any label we might apply to a person is only part of who they are and doesn't represent everything that they are. We are all people first with many different facets or parts of ourselves.
That's
and this
wrong.
includes folks who
Pedophiles
are attracted
aren't
to
people.
minors.
That's why you would shipper them.
So to start with, let's talk about what a minor attracted person is or who they are. This term simply means that the person has an enduring sexual or romantic attraction to minors. They've not chosen this attraction, just as the rest of us have not chosen whatever our attraction is. You don't get to choose to be heterosexual or to be gay or whatever you are. And you don't get to choose to be a minor attracted person.
I definitely disagree with that.
Some minor attracted persons are attracted to a specific age range of minors, while some are not. And some minor attracted persons
redundant,
are
Stephen.
exclusively attracted to minors and are not attracted to adults at all. Some minor attracted persons are also attracted to adults.
Well, thank you for that fun little tidbit. We're going to move on from that lady.
None of them are attracted to her.
Yeah. Seems like it's a.
Sensing a theme with these map people.
Gonna go ahead. So
Appearances.
Leighton says he's gonna go ahead and out himself and say that it's 100% a choice.
What is he choosing?
Leighton, I think he chooses cuddly teddy bears.
Oh, he's like kind of a furry, but
We love you, Leighton. The human, our human furry. I had things I was going to say about this lady, and then I kind of lost it. And I'm sort of glad I lost. I'm sort of glad I lost it because I don't know if I really. Trying to redesignate pedophiles as minor attracted persons and trying to personify them. Fuck that. They're not people. These are not people. I mean, no. Most of them seem to be pretty predatory and you're not a human being at that point.
Yeah, and if you're uncomfortable with wood chipper talk, then at the very least, an asylum, away from the rest of society. I don't know. I don't think it's too crazy to throw that out there.
Yeah, cool. I just sometimes like I watch people like that, and I'm not even talking about like the map part of what she's saying. That's obviously like terrible, like a whole nother level. But just like that person exists somewhere. She looks like that, talks like that. She has a weird job. If you walked into a sex therapist and saw her, it'd be like, ew, you're like the most sexless thing I've ever seen.
What kind of sex therapy is she doing exactly? Like, it seems like she has a very specific niche of people who don't actually get to have sex, and that's the people that she's doing therapy for.
I guess if that's what you're seeking counseling on is how to live a sexless life, yeah, maybe she's the person you need to go to. I don't know. What do I know? maybe she's very good for a certain group of people. I don't know. God.
Yeah. I don't even know if a sex therapist should exist for adults.
Who's like the White House, that White House thing? The bald-headed, like, you know what I'm talking about, that works for the White House? That's another one that I can't believe exists.
Oh,
the no hair and the nails and shit.
Yeah, I can't remember what its duty is, but yeah, that one and the assistant secretary of the Navy or whatever that dress-wearing man is.
Oh, Admiral?
Yeah.
Admiral?
I don't understand why. Apparently the dude's not even an like a military admiral. Like the Department of Health has its own.
We know this.
The Department of Health has its own hierarchy, and so that's why whatever this person, whatever his name is an admiral, is because of the Department of Health. Like, it's not even an actual admiralship. Like, why go through all the trouble of making up bullshit? Like, it's like the North Korean, you see the North Koreans on the stage with all of their medals and stuff is for, like, it's the same thing. Like, somebody make the meme of the North Koreans with all their medals standing next to this dude and say, like, with the I need you to spot the difference in these pictures, and she says it's the same picture. Like, somebody make that. I will pay you to make that. That's the meme.
How much will you pay?
Going rate.
Yeah, I don't know, like $25 probably.
Oh.
Send me
I've never made a meme in my life.
Send me the bill on PayPal.
I'm just gonna draw you a bunch of stick figures.
I was kind of saying all this
You're
for
gonna
Leighton
pay
because
training.
he'll probably get right on it.
Yeah, he can do that.
Let's close on this.
All right.
I haven't played this in a while.
Well, don't bother playing it again, apparently.
Donate sales from forced births, Republican hellholes to abortion. Yeah, I guess I probably won't.
So, Cards Against Humanity
what,
released
Red
a. What? Go ahead.
Is it what, red states? Is that what they mean?
Yes, red
Like,
states.
for Republican hellholes? Okay.
They even listed them. It was like Texas, Indiana, Florida, Mississippi. I can't remember all the states that they.
Yeah, when I think of a hellhole, I think of California.
Yeah, New York. That's pretty hellish. Chicago, that's absolute hellhole. And I don't want to lump the rest of Illinois in with Chicago because once you get
No, Southern Illinois is nice.
once you get like 50 to 100 miles south of Illinois, the rest of the state is pretty all right. It's just, now granted, Illinois people can't drive for shit, but then
It's
I'm
like
living
Michigan
in
and Detroit.
yeah, like I'm living in Indiana, and Indiana people can't drive for shit either. So there is this small part of me that would like to move back to New Jersey because at least those motherfuckers knew how to drive. I mean, they were assholes, but they could drive. But anyway, yeah, so red states, Cards Against Humanity released this big statement explaining how disappointed they were and that from now on, any sales from red states, the money that is raised from sales in those red states is going to go to abortion funding.
How is Cards Against Humanity not canceled?
Right? Like that's
Like, I'm not offended by it, but there's some stuff I'm sure people are like, that's racist. That can't be allowed.
Lots of stuff has been written about them in a negative light. Yeah, from like the woke crowd. So maybe this is part of them trying to stay in the good graces.
Yeah.
I think they are probably kind of wokey kind of people, but
This is their penance.
But yeah, because I read an article one time and they were like, yeah, they had one that said a big black cock, and then like their expansion pack had a bigger, blacker cock. And they're like, why's it got to be black, huh? And it's like, 'cause it's funnier, you dumb fuck.
It doesn't work
It
the other
makes
way.
it bigger. If you picture a big white cock and a big black cock, the black one's bigger. So if you're trying to be comical, you're going for the big black one. Have you guys ever played Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah.
once.
Just the one time, huh?
It's fun once or twice, but then it's pretty boring. in
Well,
my opinion.
in the chat, they're saying they haven't been canceled because they're woke, but like they sacrifice their own. Like someone could say all the right things, and they're still like, no, this isn't enough repentance, so you're done too.
I'm assuming Trey meant Eminem saying fag and then acting woke as fuck. I don't think anybody gets onto you saying fog.
No, he definitely said fog. Well, Eminem's part of his repentance was that weird, what was it, the parking lot rap video he did a few years ago after Trump got in.
Oh, his anti-Trump.
Yeah.
That was like the
I
dumbest
remember
thing
that.
I've ever listened to. Like I listened to it just to see if it was any good, and like on top of it not making any sense, it also just generally wasn't a good rap.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. I expected more from like the master of roasting people via rap, because his Machine Gun Kelly takedown rap was pretty good. So I'm expecting like really banger from a Trump takedown rap, and it was just
It fell flat.
man.
Not a big Steven Crowder guy, but him and Owen Benjamin did a parody of that. Did you see
Man.
that?
No, I may have to. You need
Yeah,
to
I have to
post
look that
that.
up.
You need to post that in the chat. I'll
was
use
pretty
that as
good.
our intro for Wednesday's show. Yeah, that was kind of my
So
feelings on it. Like,
that'll definitely get it taken down.
let's see, we got anything else today? It's kind of there wasn't really a whole lot going on in the news over the weekend. It didn't seem like.
We got Carlos in the chat. You missed it already, Carlos. We talked about Mexicans earlier.
Carlos, we talked about Mexicans. We posited on who are the Mexicans of Mexico. We had all of the great replacement talk. You gotta rewind and go back to about the I think it was like around the 20 to 25 minute mark. That's where we went through all of the. We got our racism out of the way early today.
Can Carlos confirm that the Guatemalans are the Mexicans of Mexico?
Yeah. We need confirmation that Guatemalans are the Mexicans of Mexico.
He probably laughed. He just came in here to say, "Hey guys," and now he's gone. Oh, there he is. You'll notice, Carl, that I remained silent during that section of the show.
A nail gun. I was told this guy had an AR-15 style assault gun, assault weapon that he went after the FBI with.
Oh yeah, that. There was a car that crashed into near the Capitol, and then the guy shot himself or something weird.
Guatemalans confirmed right there. There it is. We were right,
Cool.
as always.
It's not the strongest verification I've ever seen, but I guess we'll take it.
Works for me. How did he get the nail gun to fire? Is what I want to know. Like people, you would have to jerry rig the little trip mechanism, because the nail gun won't just shoot nails. Like I guess there are old school style nail guns that will do that, but like it has the little thing on the end that has to be depressed, and then it pops the nail out. So like you would have to.
Yeah.
You would have to find some way to keep that thing depressed back so that it would just pop off nails, which seems like a lot of work. I mean, you're definitely not putting your fingers up there and holding it, and because then you're definitely going to get nailed through the finger at some point. You're going to slip.
I'm unfamiliar with this term, jerry rig. Is there another term that associates with it?
In the South, they tend to refer to it as nigger rigging, but
Okay, that sounds more familiar to me.
Or Afro engineering. There's also redneck.
Actually, I've not ever heard that. I don't think.
Really? There's also redneck
that's-
engineering, but that's a little different.
That's the part of the meme where Winnie the Pooh's in the top hat and tuxedo. That's Afro engineering. I'm more curious. Like, was this a pneumatic or an electric nail gun? Because if it's a pneumatic, it's pretty impressive getting the air tank. I know they sell the little chintzy ones you might get a couple shots out of, but if he's dragging around an air system or rig one of those up, that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, they've got the so like if you go paintballing or something like that, like they've got a dual canister that you can like strap to your back and run a line to. So it's effectively like a portable compressed air pack that I would imagine you could probably get quite a few shots off with it. I don't know how far they would go. But.
That's how mass shootings in Britain happen with they have air rifles over there. You got fucking tanks on his back.
People are like freezing paintballs and then going out and shooting people with them since they're not allowed to have bullets.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to have paintball guns over there? Or are those even banned?
They're allowed to have air rifles, I think. At least they used to be able to. Yeah. Because there was something where they're like the dudes in Britain had like the most badass air rifles because it's all they're allowed to have. So the gun nerds over there just build like these insane air rifles. So at least at one point they were legal. Who knows these days?
You can't totally take the gun away from a man. Apparently, he's gonna find a way.
Steven is saying what I had said whenever I saw this on Twitter. It's an op. The guy was shot later off-site where no cameras caught it. It just seems really suspicious, the whole thing. Like, some dude screaming, "This is MAGA country," attacks a FBI building with a nail gun, and then is later shot where but there were no witnesses or anything for it. Like, he wasn't shot on scene. It happened later. Like, this is, and then as soon as this happened, as soon as it happened, that was when the director of the FBI came out talking about how attacks on the FBI or like attacks on democracy or something like that. Like, the whole thing seemed pretty fucking suspicious.
I need to go back down that Vegas shooting rabbit hole.
What was my nail gun gang sign?
I have no idea what that was.
Looks like I'm cracking a beer. Chat's going nuts today.
Yeah. It's like, do we call people retarded and end this thing, or do we keep it going?
Well, we are at times, and they are pretty retarded. See you Wednesday, guys.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.